Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Stats and Chats. I'm Jason.
And I'm Bella. This week we'll be giving you an F1 update, information on the U.S. men's national soccer team, and some predictions. So bing, bang, boom, let's get started.
Boom. School is out
Yes.
for summer. Summer is here.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Made it through another year, survived.
Yes,
Halfway
you
through
did.
high school, then I can leave. Recruiting starts in 20 days.
Recruiting starts in 20 days. We weren't even going to talk about that. So what is that? How are you feeling about that?
Good. I'm excited.
Filled out some questionnaires.
Yeah.
So for those that might not know, what happens in 20 days?
Okay, so basically in 20 days, schools can start contacting me about going there to swim.
And it's just
And
for
academics, but like they're contacting me for swim.
But the June date is for athletes, right?
Yes.
Specifically for athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not really allowed.
Yeah. It's not like applying for a school like normal. So if you were just a normal student who didn't do athletics, you would just apply when admissions opens. But for athletes and for swimmers, admissions open June 15th, and that's when the schools can start contacting us about going there.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's like the best way I can explain.
Yeah. Good. And you've got your top 10 wish list. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
Yes, very exciting.
Just wrapped up a couple of swim meets, a couple of weeks before the next one.
Yep.
Just got back from a nice weekend over at our favorite Orlando resort. That was cool. Any highlights?
Tanning?
Yeah. But you didn't really sit still.
No, because UV was so high that you didn't need to.
No.
But I got tan, so it was chill.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we are a little over a week away from Mexico.
I'm so excited.
It's kind of cool. We're bookending this summer. Nothing too big. No big trips in the middle of summer. Kind of hard to do because of all the swim and everything.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple cool things at the beginning, and then we should be booking something to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I think it'll work out well.
You want to know something that you get to do when you visit colleges for swim? You get to take media pictures.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you don't go there?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, I could show you later, but
So they show you what you're going to look like when you're a swimmer for
basically, so they give you
Penn
props
State
and
University.
stuff, and like you can they take pictures.
Do you put on the team stuff?
I think so, yeah.
Probably.
So I'm
that's very manipulative.
I'm very excited.
That's very manipulative.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you can like see yourself.
Yeah. And then you go home and you dream about it. Yeah. It's good. I'm excited. Should be an eventful summer.
Yes.
Cool. All right. You ready to dig in?
Yes.
Dude, there has been so much that's happened.
Yes.
I think it's been 5 weeks. I'll have to go back and look. It's been at least 4.
Yeah. I feel like 4, maybe 5.
Yeah. But the NFL schedule's been released. They're doing some summer workouts right now. Your favorite quarterback was at Steelers camp this week
Glad he went this year.
to connect. Aaron Rodgers has said that this is his last season.
Good.
He's going to go out with the Super Bowl. He's going to take Pittsburgh to the promised land.
I'm sure.
But yeah, not too much going on right now. Actually, I just read a story yesterday about how much hope there is in Cleveland. Shout out to Cleveland fans. New coach.
Yeah.
A lot of analysts ranked their draft as the best draft.
Yeah. They had a pretty good one.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe there's hope in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good games to cover. We'll have to talk about the NFL schedule in the next week or so,
Yeah.
or in the next couple of weeks. But today we got F1 and we got World Cup right around the corner.
Yes.
You want to kick off F1?
Sure. So last week there was the Grand Prix in Montreal. There was also a sprint race that was that weekend.
Dude, we haven't even been on air since we went to Miami.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. So on Saturday, George Russell won the sprint race from the pole position. He held off Norris and Antonelli. There was some contact between the two Mercedes drivers, but all was fine. All was well. Then he what? Why are
Well,
you
I don't
laughing?
know that they think all was well, but
Well,
Kimi was kind of whining, to be honest. But
well, yeah. But then Toto kind of like
he
smacked him across the head.
he
with the
dadded
phone.
him.
Yeah. He was like, shut your mouth. Yeah. But it's fine. It's chill. Then for the Grand Prix, Russell stole the pole position, again denying Kimi, so a little bit of beef there probably. And then during the actual Grand Prix for 30 laps, the Kimi and George were back and forth pretty
Yeah.
much the whole time.
Yeah.
So there was no clear, consistent winner. Then George's car just stopped working. So basically what happened is the engine stopped. So there was no electronics, no brakes, literally everything turned off.
Yeah.
So the full battery failed, which is in part due to the new changes that they've made with electric and the engines and stuff like that. So Mercedes said that there were 0 warnings beforehand that could have prevented the issue.
Is that right?
Yes. So they didn't know, like nothing was different that could have determined that it was going to happen. So there was nothing that they could have really done.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if anybody watched during the race, you could see Russell kind of threw his headrest over the car, was clearly very upset. And actually, fun fact, throwing that headrest earned him a $5,000 fine. And it's like a 12-month suspension, but it's over 12 months. So basically, if he doesn't pay the $5,000 fine by 12 months, then he's suspended.
I think.
So,
I think.
yeah,
I
he's
don't
gonna pay
think
the
that's probably
$5,000
paid.
fine. I think he'll be fine. But yes, so Kimi ended up winning that race and lapping most of the drivers actually in the process. So could have been George. He became the first driver in F1 history to win his first 4 races consecutively: Australia, China, Japan, Miami, and now Canada. And Russell had, after the sprint race, there was only 18 points between him and Kimi. However, the fact that he didn't finish the Grand Prix ended up widening that gap to 43 points. So Antonelli now leads the scores with 131 points as the youngest championship leader in F1 history, with all 5 2026 races won by Mercedes. So for constructors, there's a pretty clear leader at the moment, which is Mercedes, obviously, because they've won every single race since the start of the season. Something that I wanted to note is that it's very rare for Mercedes to have these engine failures. So that's definitely something to look at moving forward, because that's not usual for them. They have a really solid car. So that could signify some future issues if they don't figure out why it was caused, because they obviously didn't see anything different ahead of time. So if they still can't figure it out, it could happen in the future. Yeah. So my question for you, can Russell figure out a way to like make up the point difference, or is Kimi just unstoppable ahead of all, winning everything for the rest of the season?
Yeah. Man, there are so many fascinating storylines in F1 right now. The one thing I wish is that there wasn't that 5-week pause. And then there's like 3 weeks before the next race. So Monaco is next. That comes up the weekend of June 6th through the 8th,
Yeah.
which is cool. And I think we'll get a better pace over the summer without quite so many gaps. But so many interesting storylines, fascinating. There's so much conversation, continued conversation around the new changes, the new cars, the complaints from the drivers. Over those 5 weeks, the cars, the rules were adjusted a little bit and the cars were adjusted a little bit. But, then you hear drivers like Lando talking about other circuits like the Indy 500
Yeah.
is something that he's excited and interested in, or even motorbikes. You got Max driving on an off week, driving in a 24-hour
Yeah.
race. So I think F1, it's in an interesting spot with all of the changes that they made this year. So it's just going to be fascinating to see what F1 does about the cars and the changes moving forward, and how much they work to make sure that they keep some of these top tier drivers.
Yeah.
Also, rumors of a couple of different drivers making moves after the season as well. So just a lot of drama right now in F1. And I think at the top of the list is kind of this new rivalry between Russell and Kimi.
Yeah.
And, I picked Russell. I think a lot of people picked Russell beginning of the year. And all of a sudden, after 5 races, Kimi looks like an unstoppable machine. So here's what I think. I think Kimi was one of those human beings that was struck by lightning and given a gift, obviously. And it's showing up on the racetrack right now. And I mean, he looks unstoppable. He also has the unparalleled confidence of a younger, newer athlete that hasn't, necessarily had to go through some of the major obstacles that some athletes do the
It's like
longer they're in the game,
it's
right?
like any athlete before they kind of hit their peak and then they dip down again, and then
Yeah.
they have to figure out how to get through that so that they can peak again.
Right. Right.
It's kind of like that.
So, I mean, the confidence could not be stronger and higher right now. And frankly, that takes you a long way. And it is for him right now. So right now he leads Russell by 43 points. Mercedes clearly has the fastest car. I think Russell is still going to compete for the championship. I think 43 points, while it's a lot, there's only 5 races in, right?
Yeah.
So plenty of races to go. Monaco is a good fit for Russell. I think he'll work to get the pole here. It's a tight street circuit where car control and pace really matter, and those are his strengths. He wins another race, he's right back in the game, right? And the reality is he's had a lot of bad luck, and most recently in Montreal, he didn't lose Canada. His car lost Canada. I mean, he was leading, he won the pole. He was shoulder to shoulder with Kimi. I think it was a spirited competition. I think they both kind of felt like the other went a little bit too far, but I think that's part of the game. So I think Russell comes back to make this tight by the end of the year.
Yeah.
You?
I agree in the sense that it's only 5 races in. But at the same time, I think Kimi's just shown so far that he's basically untouchable. So I feel like it would be very difficult for that to just stop. So I think Kimi will pull it out. I think Russell can close the gap, but I don't think we'll see him place consistently ahead of Kimi, which is what's going to work to close that gap and ultimately lead him to win. Because you can't win if Kimi's still beating you every time, even if you're on the podium.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest concern.
Yeah.
I think he can still consistently make it onto the podium.
Yeah.
I think it's more about placing ahead of Kimi. That's going to be the biggest struggle.
Yeah.
So
I think Kimi has had very little bad luck so far.
Yeah.
And almost every other driver has.
Yes.
So while Mercedes has the best cars this year,
Yeah.
I think it's going to take one little thing to shake his confidence a little bit. And I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge for him than
Yeah.
some of the other drivers to come back from that. And I have to believe that that's going to happen. So I think it's going to be fascinating. I think it's going to be a great competition to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. All right. So you see, is Kimi going to win it all?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sticking with Russell.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Russell. And I think the driver that I see coming back from kind of a slow start, because outside of Mercedes, Lewis was on the podium this week for the first time. He was feeling great. Max, the McLaren cars seem to be getting better.
Yeah.
Although Lando didn't finish. I think Max has a chance to get in the conversation like he did last year. Remember, he came out of nowhere last year?
Yeah, definitely.
And it went to the last race.
Yeah.
I think Max could do that again, even with an inferior car. Because he's Max.
Yeah.
I mean, he finished third.
Yeah.
So they're figuring things out.
Yes. But again, if you're not beating who's winning.
Yeah. I got you.
Winning.
I got you.
You know? So.
All right. World Cup.
Yep.
World Cup, baby. Right around the corner, less than 2 weeks away. So the 26-man roster has officially been announced. 13 players returning from the 2022 Qatar squad. 13 making their first World Cup appearance. So kind of half and a half when it comes to experience. First match, June 12th versus Paraguay. So everything you need to know. It's a quick overview of the World Cup for those that might not be following it closely. And then we'll dive into my opinion, which is that this year should be different for the U.S. And they should have arguably the most success they've ever had in a World Cup. So a couple of the basics. It's the biggest sporting event on the planet, the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, bigger than the Super Bowl, bigger than the Olympics. 48 countries, one winner, happens every 4 years. This year it's hosted by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. 104 games total across 16 cities. The final is July 19th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Teams start in groups of 4. They play 3 games. The top 2 from each group advance. Then it's single elimination after that. So they qualify, and then it's one and done.
Yeah.
So it's round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinal, semifinals, final. Favorites, some familiar names. So Brazil, France, Argentina, who won last time. Do you remember where we were? We watched that game.
Were we in New York?
We were in New York. New York City. We watched the final. England and Germany, always in the conversation. Messi playing again for Argentina, probably going to be his final World Cup.
Yeah.
He's 38.
He's old. He's older than I thought he was.
He's been around a long time.
Yeah. But I mean, soccer's a little bit different than like football because it's not as much contact all the time. So
you could say it is a lot like football. And so those are the basics. Where does the U.S. fit? Not a favorite to win it all. Never has been. But as the host nation, we've got a young, talented team. Expectation is to make it a deep run. So why will this year be different? Good question. First off, the U.S. is hosting for the first time since 1994. Home crowd, home soil, home pressure. But in soccer, noise alone can change the games, and they're playing in football stadiums, right?
Yeah.
So they will be packed. The group draw for them could not have gone much better. So they are really set up to get past that first round. It's one of the easiest paths of any team. They've got Paraguay and Australia, but the U.S. has beaten both of them.
Yeah.
Solidly recently. And then Turkey is the toughest of the other 3 teams, but they haven't been to a World Cup since 2002. So when it comes to those first brackets of 4 teams, the U.S. in really good shape. Second, it's arguably the most talented U.S. team ever.
Yeah.
So almost every player on the roster plays professionally in Europe. So obviously that's where the best competition is. The top leagues in the world. A decade ago, that was one or two guys only. Now it's the entire team. Coach Mauricio Pochettino. Think of him as kind of a premier team level coach.
Yeah.
He's managed Tottenham and PSG in the past. So Premier League teams.
Yeah.
It's his second year. So his first year was a little bit rough, but he's turned it around. The team ended 2025 on a 5-game unbeaten streak, including a 5-1 win over Uruguay, who's one of South America's best teams. All right. So those are the arguments. Send-off schedule, May 31st, they play Senegal in Charlotte. And then June 6th, they play Germany in Chicago. I'd love to go to that before their first game on the 12th. So, bottom line, last time the U.S. got past the round of 16 was 2002, 24 years ago. Crazy.
It's crazy.
They're on home soil, best squad in history, favorable draw. They've got to get past that round of 16 for it to be a success.
Yeah.
I think they will do it for the reasons I've stated. I think that they're going to go far. What do you think?
Okay, so I agree that definitely their first bracket setup is really good because they're pretty much guaranteed to go past the first round, which is good. But if they do that, they end up likely facing a favorite. So Belgium, Argentina, France in the round of 16.
Yeah.
So I find it difficult to believe that they will beat one of those teams when it's just one and done. However,
Home soil. Rockin' fans.
yeah, but if
We'll all be glued to our
if
TVs.
the other team is way better, that doesn't.
Do you believe in miracles?
If they don't get put against one of those teams, though, I do think they have the ability to.
Yeah. So it depends on who they face.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on who they face because if they face a favorite like Argentina, France, I find it hard to believe that they're going to beat them.
Yeah.
But they're not guaranteed to play one of those teams. So I think it just depends on how that works out, whether in their favor or not.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
yeah. I mean, no definite prediction for me. I if they don't face one of those teams, I think they can make it past that round. If they do, I don't think they'll make it past that round.
All right. It's very non-committal. That's fine. Go USA.
Yep.
Go Team USA.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them, even if Bella's not.
Go America.
All right. Aside from that, we got the NFL Stanley Cup or NHL Stanley Cup Finals. We've got the NBA championships.
Yeah.
Playoffs underway. Any predictions?
Yeah. So NHL, I think the Hurricanes and Golden Knights, I think they'll take their conference wins, and then I have the Hurricanes to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
They've just been on such a roll in the playoffs. Like they literally they've only lost one game or something.
Yeah, they lost the first game of this round to Montreal, and then they came back and won 2 in a row, right?
Yeah, and before that they had won 8 and lost none.
Yeah.
I think.
Scoring machines.
Yeah. So
but
I just feel like they're
the Golden Knights just swept the Avalanche.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think the Hurricanes are playing better.
Okay, so you're picking the Hurricanes.
Yep.
So they'll finish off Montreal.
Yeah.
And then finish off. Any number of games?
6.
Yeah.
6, 7.
All right, so you think it'll be close? You think the Golden
look
Knights?
of disappointment on your face when I did that was just.
I think it's 2025. I just want you to be current.
No, I just find it.
I'm
so
just trying
funny
to help
because
you.
there's no reason for it. Like it means literally nothing, but it was a thing, and it's still kind of a thing, low key. But
yeah.
I just find it so funny because like why? I don't know.
But we just keep doing it.
That's
a beautiful thing.
Rotting our brains.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Sound like you.
I don't know what that means. So I'll take NBA. I'll take the NBA. So the Knicks convincingly, and the city of New York is very excited, convincingly swept Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they're sitting and waiting for the NBA Finals to start. On the other side, San Antonio and OKC are in a battle. And last night, OKC took a 1-game lead. So they lead at 3-2. Here's my prediction. I think the Spurs come back and upset OKC, the defending champs. I think Wembanyama is insane.
Yeah.
I think he is a freak in all the best ways. And I think he, along with the rest of the Spurs, figure out a way to topple the defending champs. So I think it's Spurs and Knicks. I think Wemby gives every team, and certainly the Knicks, matchup problems all day. As long as he stays healthy, I think the Spurs win the NBA championship in 6 games. That's my pick. Spurs in 6.
Sounds fire.
But they got to get past OKC.
Yeah, I think they can.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's my pick. So I got Spurs in 6. You've got the Hurricanes. Makes me think college football in 6. So we'll see. Those are both very different than our original.
Florida's not in it. That's like
no. Well, Montreal took care of Tampa in 7 games.
Yeah.
It was good. Or was it 7? 6? So, oh, here we go again.
I wasn't gonna say anything,
but yeah, it's exciting finishes to the NBA and NHL season. WNBA is kicked off. Yeah. Already some good matchups there. A lot going on. Flag football. Yeah. Some Olympic 2028 Olympic announcements for Orlando. There'll be some like pre-Olympic games here for some of the main events. So yeah, a lot going on in sports. Plenty to talk about.
Yep.
Cool. All right. You want to take us home?
Sure.
Cool.
Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment. We love to hear your feedback on Instagram, YouTube, Threads, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. All good things, all good things, all the things.
All good things. Thanks for listening, everybody. Great to be back. See you next week.
Yep. Bye.